Welcome to another YouTube video tutorial by the name Prof. Today I'm going to explain all the things that you have forgotten but you are afraid to ask, because what I realized is that you'll find that most of the first year students struggle because you find that lectures expect them to remember things that they learned in grade 9 and then or grade 10 or grade 11, basically stuff from high school. But lectures won't explain those stuff because they simply assume that you know those stuff. But that's why I entitled this thing "Things You Have Forgotten to Ask but Afraid to Ask." So how to sketch graphs. I learned this in grade 10. So I'm gonna start with some simple graphs. So I'm gonna start with the graph y equals to x squared. How to sketch that? How to sketch a parabola? It's a parabola. It's a simple graph. So this one, it's a parabola before any transformation, before it is transformed either to the left or right. So this graph is in this form. So that's the graph of y equals to x squared. This is your x-axis, y x-axis. So you can draw this graph without even drawing the without even writing any numbers on the x-axis or any numbers on the y-axis, as long as you have got that shape. So that's the first graph that you need to know. So the second graph that you need to know is the graph y equals to x. This is basically a straight line that passes through the origin. So this is your x-axis, your y-axis. So I'm just showing you how to draw these graphs without any without using a table, because most people prefer to use a table. So I want to show you how we draw these graphs without a table. So that's that graph there. Let's go to another graph that you also need to know. The third graph, it's x equals to y squared. Let me draw it from this one, on the same axis as this one. So this one is a transformation, is a reflection of this graph along the line y equals to x line. So this graph is reflected through this line, so it takes this form. So it has this form. So your x equals to y squared. That's that graph there. So in general, this graph is the form x equals to a y squared plus by plus c. So if a is greater than 0, this graph faces the right hand side. If a is less than 0, this graph faces the left hand side. That's just the general shape there. So let me do another graph. The fourth graph that I want to show you is just a straight line. I know some of you have forgotten. That is why I took this time to show you this video. Y equals to 3x plus 4. For this one, I will need the y-intercept and the x-intercept. So the y-intercept is simple. We know that in general, the graph of straight line is given by y equals to mx plus c. So y equals to mx plus c. Your m, that's the gradient. But today I don't want to focus on m. What I want to focus on is your y-intercept. C is the y-intercept. So what is the y-intercept? Remember, the y-intercept is that point where in your graph cuts the y-axis. So I don't need many points. I just need these 2 points. For straight line, you need x-axis and x-intercept and the y-intercept. Let me just label the x and y-intercept. Use a black pen. Black Panther. Black pen. So now let's find the y-intercept So the y-intercept is y equals to 4. The x-intercept, let me do it on a new page. I'm gonna find the x-intercept of the line. Oh, you remember you let y equal to 0. Y equals to 3x plus 4. So y equals to 3x plus 4. So that's negative 4 equals to 3x 4 over 3. So x equals to minus 4 over 3. Just do minus 4 over 3 with the calculator. I think it's 1 point something. Negative 4 divided by 3, that's like 1.33. So let me just quickly label the point. Negative 4 is 3. So negative 4 over 3 is there. So now I'm going to join those 2 points. It's just near after 1.33. These are the only 2 points that I need. Oh, another thing that I forgot to mention is that the gradient is also important. M greater than 0. It means that your graph is gonna take this form. Your slope it will take this form, and if it's less than 0, it will take this form. M less than 0. That's the general shape of that graph. So you can see that our gradient is positive there. So that's why we've got that shape. Let me proceed to the next graph. The 5th graph that I want to do is also another straight line. Even this one you also need true shape, but it's in terms of it's x, which is a function of y. So this, remember, this is your x, this is your y. So we can see here the x-intercept. Here this graph is in the form x equals to m y plus c. So here our y-intercept is in terms of x. So our x-intercept is 12 here. So I'll now see it's a value of x, not a value of y. That's why I put a 12 there. Sorry, I just realized that you couldn't see because of my lightning. Just put it there. Okay, yeah, I think it's better now. So that's our, now we're left with finding the y-intercept. So you let x to equals 0. X equals to 12 minus 2. So y-intercept, let x equal to 0. 0 equals to 12 minus 2y. 2y equals to 12 divided by 2. So our y equals to 6. Let me go back. So our y equal to 6. So let me just join these 2 points. There is our graph. That's our graph. Let me do another graph. The next graph that I want to show you, it's the graph y equals to negative x squared plus 4. I remember this graph that I showed you in the beginning, the graph of a parabola. This is y equals to ax squared, y equals to x squared. This is my x, this is my y value. So what we're going to do there, I remember a general shape of a parabola. Parabola is given my y equals to x squared my lightning, bx plus c. So if a is greater than 0, your graph faces upwards. If a is less than 0, graph faces downwards. My high school teacher used to say, vatendi vari positive ri vavona ngu imisa zvanḓa kerekeni, vatendi vari negative ri vavona ngu ṋembeledza zvanḓa kerekeni. Just one of the rules. This is a passive Christian. These are those Christians which are very active in church. This is how we see them: active Christians, active Christians, active Christians, passive Christian. I think you won't forget this one. So the reason why, so here we can see that this is negative. This is an example of a passive Christian. So this means that our graph is will face downwards, and a greater than 0, our graph faces upwards. So this is that the shape of this graph will face upward. I'll just quickly get another piece of paper. So y is equals to x squared plus 4. We have already noted that our graph faces downwards. So now we need the y-intercept. Y equals to x squared plus 4. You might also need x-intercept here, but what is important here is where this graph so your general graph shape equation is in this form. So C is your y-intercept. Y-intercept. So that's your y-intercept there. So x and y. So put your 4 there. So that's your y-intercept there. Our intercept in this case is 4. We've already said that since a is less than 0, our graph will face downwards. So that's my graph there. That's just the shape. Let me just calculate the x-intercept just for the sake of convenience. X-intercept, let y to be 0, 0 equals to negative x squared plus 4, divided throughout by negative x squared minus 4, x plus 2, x minus 2, x equals to negative 2, or x equals to 2. So I just put negative 2 there and 2. You don't need a table, guys. Just want to show you how we draw these graphs without a table. No need for a table. Table, no table. Table is a waste of time, guys. Life is too short to include a table. So this is another parabola. Remember, I said you are guided by this. If this is greater than 0, remember active and passive Christians, a greater than 0. So then what we're going to do here is to we know that this graph is to face downwards. So what is left now is to calculate the x-intercept. Let me just quickly calculate the x-intercept. Y equals to, let y 0, 3x minus x squared. Y is 0 equals to x into 3 minus x. So that's x equals to 0, or x equals to 3. Now your y-intercept here is 0. Remember that equation, squared plus bx plus c. C is 0 in this case, so your graph cuts at 0. So 3 minus it is facing downwards. So here your y-intercept is 0, so your graph looks something like this. So your y, this is your y-intercept. which is also another X-intercept. So let me just camera a bit. So that's a graph, that's X, Y. Yeah, this is the graph that you have to draw. Let me just do another graph. I'm going to do another graph. X equals to square root of 5 y squared so this is you remember this graph of a parabola which is in this shape. This is y equals to ax squared. Now the inverse of that will be x equals to ay squared. So this is how we draw the inverse. So the inverse is simply the reflection on the line y equals to x. So this is the line x equals to square root of 5 y squared. So that's it. So now let's draw our final ground. Just quickly label the x and the y axis. Let me just quickly draw the final graph. I know you're tired of me. It's difficult to concentrate for too long. I'll be out of your face very soon. Just bear with me. So you remember this graph. This is the graph of y equals to square root of x. So now this is the graph after transformation. Also after transformation, this graph has been shifted by 1 unit. So we need to find the x-intercept of this graph. Yeah, let y equal to 0. Y equals to square root of 1, 0, 1 minus x. We square both sides. 0, 1 minus x. X is equals to 1. So then that's y equals to 1 minus x. That's, you put 1 there. That's 1 there. And then so this graph has to face that side. If y equals to ax squared, x equals to y equals to, yeah, that's the scenario that we have there. Remember I said if a is greater than 0, this graph faces the right hand side. If a is less than 0, this graph faces the left hand side. Thank you for watching my YouTube tutorial. Do not forget to like, share, comment if you've got any questions. I'll see you in the next video. Have a good night. Love you all.